Good evening and welcome to Thursday Night Live, the T2 Challenge. I am Mark Thompson, along with Sean O'Neill, the High Performance Director at USATT. And Sean, we have got a treat for everybody tonight. What a match, a rematch of the final match that we saw in Santa Monica at the Olympic trials. It is Zhou Shin representing Team Nataku taking on Nikhil Kumar, two guys who will represent the United States of America in Tokyo next summer, going head-to-head at ICC in Milpitas, California.
I am so thrilled to see this matchup occur. They played a great match in Santa Monica. Both have been in tournament mode. They've been practicing extremely hard with Tokyo on their mind. We saw them warm up a little bit earlier in the day. They're hitting the ball really firm. They're looking fit. I just cannot wait for the first point of this match.
Yeah, I don't want to put too much pressure on Zhou Shin, although that's a guy that's had pressure before. He played on the biggest stages in the world. He's used to it. But Team Nataku do have their collective back to the wall just a bit. Down 4-1 or 4 matches to 1. Of course, it is a best of 11. First team to 6 wins of matches is going to win this first Thursday Night Live T2 challenge that we've got on. So Zhou Shin has his work cut out for him tonight, trying to carry the load for Team Nataku.
Yes, and we spoke a little earlier to Nikhil, and he feels like the pressure isn't on him because he is sporting a little bit of a lead. And he said the most important thing to him is just to focus on his match, not worry about the overall score and kind of fall into that train of thought, but just try to get the job done and help get his team closer to the finish line.
You know, Sean, I mentioned we're at ICC in beautiful Milpitas, California. We're coming off a big match out of Houston, Texas. We want to thank everybody, Manny Velasquez and everybody else down at the Houston International Table Tennis Academy for all of their great work last week. What a match that we saw. Just an overpowering win by Wang Huixing. She took out Michael Tran 4-0 for Team Butterfly. I know we've got some clips from that, but that was one of those matches where we saw a person at their best. And, you know, Sean, we talk about Wang Huixing. She's going to represent the United States of America in the Olympics as well. Dominant performance by her. She just looked great against Michael Tran last week.
Her serve and serve return were just top-notch. I mean, we saw her put on a little bit of a clinic, moving the ball around, jamming Michael both wide to the backhand and into the center of the table, just loading up the spin. And then when getting a weak ball, she would jump on top of it. Michael had some of his own powerful shots, but I think if you look at the entire match, the real difference was the serve and serve return of Wang Huixing.
Yeah, you looked at Michael, and Michael did look like he was in good form, but Wang Huixing, I think she's been training, she said, with Jimmy Boston for a while, so she has some good training partners. She looked to be tremendously fit. One of the shots that really stood out to me was something I just kind of called a punch backhand that she had. Very powerful. Her footwork was excellent as well. It looked like the serve fooled Michael Tran quite a bit. Very difficult to adjust to her play.
And after the match, Michael even admitted that he had a really tough time gauging the depth of the serve. She was moving it in, moving it out, giving him a lot of half-long serves, but it was really her continued attacks, especially on the forehand side, that ultimately posed the biggest problem for Michael Tran.
Yeah, her ability to move around the table. We see there the final match point and the 4-0 victory for Wang Huixing against Michael Tran. And I don't think it was that Michael was bad at all. Actually, there were a number of points where I thought that Michael had hit winners on, and Wang Huixing was able to answer on each of those. I think that Michael Tran just caught a player at her best last week.
Absolutely.
And we're going to see some best this week as well, Sean. I'm really looking forward to one of my all-time favorites, Nikhil Kumar. You and I were talking off-air before coming on about how we've had the opportunity to really watch this young man mature from a young, thin, skinny, scrawny player. He is no longer skinny and scrawny anymore. He is becoming a true pro athlete. Nikhil Kumar, who again will represent the United States at the Olympics next year. He's just 17 years old, but his body physically and his mind mentally have really matured in the right direction.
It's really funny, Mark. I get a text message from him saying, can I get a bigger size in the clothing? Because he's like grown so much. And as you say, but I think, of course, physically he's getting bigger and stronger. But mentally, I think he's getting smarter, wiser, sharper, and just that sense of calmness. When he goes out on the table, he doesn't look around to see what's going on. He knows what he needs to do. He plays within his own game, and he basically has a clear understanding of how he's going to put his strengths with that solid serve and serve return, a very lethal forehand, and I know it's your favorite shot, Mark, his backhand punch. When he pops that thing, no one knows where that's going.
It's got tremendous confidence in that shot. We saw that in Santa Monica. You mentioned already these two gentlemen saw each other in the final, the 11th match that each of them played in Santa Monica, California at the Olympic trials. It was Nikhil Kumar taking a 4-2 victory over Zhou Shin in that match. But Zhou Shin certainly shouldn't be embarrassed about that, as Nikhil Kumar won all 11 matches that he played in Santa Monica. Sean, he did it in dominating fashion. Nobody took him to a seventh game. As a matter of fact, I think only two players got him to a sixth game, even Zhou Shin being one, and I think the other was Kai Zhang. It was just a dominating performance the entire time we were in Santa Monica Olympic trials for Nikhil Kumar.
And even to take one step back, Nikhil and Zhou Shin played together for Team USA in the North American Olympic team competition, where Team USA defeated Canada 3-0, and it was looking really dicey in the doubles when these guys were out there. And if I remember correctly, it was almost Nikhil acting as kind of like the elder statesman and kind of getting the action and the ball going that gave us that critical win. Zhou Shin won a singles, and then Canuck Jha, four-time U.S. men's champion, took the other singles. But that little turning point, that window that Canada had to maybe sneak in and cause some issues, the kid really rose to the challenge there.
Yeah, you can't sleep on Zhou Shin. This guy has played just about everybody in the world in difficult circumstances. He is one of the few people that's actually beaten Jan-Ove Waldner, and when he was at the Swedish Elite League, perhaps not in Waldner's prime, but by the same token, he did beat him. He's played Ma Long, and I don't want to give the misimpression that he wasn't good in Santa Monica at the Olympic trials. As a matter of fact, of the 11 matches that he played, he only lost one. That one was to Nikhil Kumar, and as I counted it up, 8 of the 10 wins that he had in that event for Olympic trials, he won 4-0. As a matter of fact, I only think he lost 3 games to the other 10 players that he played other than Nikhil Kumar. You look at that, that was a dominating performance by Zhou Shin in Santa Monica as well.
I mean, the ability to dodge bullets from Tom Feng, from Kai Zhang, from the Algueti brothers, not easy by any stretch. And he just came out there, set the standard, established his offensive game, his over-the-table game, and his serve and serve return super tight, doesn't give a free point anywhere. And going into the last match, both Nikhil and Zhou Shin knew they were going to go to Tokyo, and it was just a matter of placement on the team. So they both had kind of that mission accomplished sign already checked off.
You know, Sean, we were talking off air, and you were talking about Zhou Shin's game of how good he is on the third ball. I mean, he's a great server of the ball to begin with, but the way that he puts his body in position for what is his second shot after serving the ball is extremely impressive. He's a big man. He's 6'1". He's light. He's probably 175, 180 in there. So he's not, like a heavy person, but he's tall. And sometimes you think of a tall person not having the capacity to kind of move quickly into position. Not true at all with Zhou Shin. His footwork is exceptional.
And that's really the trademark of Chinese table tennis, especially when you play at the national team level, is that your feet have to be fast, your hands have to be fast. And really, the best thing is the balance. When you unload and play an 80% power shot, to be able to reload at lightning speed and be able to deliver 2, 3, 4, and 5. Usually the best Chinese compared to their European counterparts, it's how many shots can they go full strength. Chinese can usually do 6, 7, or 8. European players maybe 3, 4, or 5. And Zhou Shin, when you watch him play tonight, look to see when he plays the first attack how he can continue to sustain that level of power, but at the same time, watch out for Nikhil, because he's got the backhand punch, he's got the hooking forehand, and a lot of times, because of the left-handedness, he'll throw in a side spin or maybe a chop or some nuanced type of shot that will just really throw a monkey wrench into the point, and it'll be up to Zhou Shin to be able to keep the attack going when the ball changes depth, when it changes spin. So I've been looking forward to this all this past week since the players were chosen. I cannot wait for them to start the match.
No, me neither. And as an American, I'm very proud to have both of these gentlemen representing the United States, not only because they are great players, but also because they're good people. I've had the opportunity to interview both of them. Zhou Shin, he's got a surprisingly sneaky wit about him. He's a very clever young man. And of course, when you look over at Nikhil Kumar, we talk about the Alguetis and their emotion. But Nikhil Kumar is another player, Sean, who is known for his emotion. He seems to feed off of it during the match. He's not afraid to express himself while he's playing. And as an American watching him, I love that about him, is that he does wear his heart just a bit on his sleeve.
Yeah, no, you will know how he's doing, whether it's before the point with the quick little Cho type of pump up, or whether it's after a point, especially when he makes a spectacular shot. He'll add a little bit of flavor to it so that the other player realizes that, hey, this guy's going to get the crowd on his side with what he just delivered. So always fun to see Nikhil. I said, at the Olympic doubles, he really raised the intensity level for Team USA. And I would anticipate for playing for the big money tonight, we will see his A game.
This is obviously Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge Week 6, so I think that most fans who have been following us know that we play T2 rules a little bit different. There's no deuce, which makes it kind of interesting. 10-10, somebody's about to win. Of course, there is the 24-minute timer clock. Any game started after 24 minutes of play, Sean, is played to just 5. There's a little bit of strategy involved in that. I almost am hoping that we've already had 2 of our matches go to the full 7 games in the 5 prior weeks that we played. I'd love that tonight, because that means we would be in Fast 5 with these 2 exceptional players tonight at ICC in Milpitas, California.
And I think if we do face one of those 10-10 games, I think the shot making that Nikhil has will really serve him well. I know that Zhou Shin, just so consistent. You just know what you're going to get. You don't see him try a crazy shot. You don't see him try a weak shot. Everything's kind of right down the middle. But with Nikhil, we saw that with Sharon Algueti and even Adar. Jump out hard, jump out fast, and on those 10-10s, don't be afraid to go for the big shot or the bomb. So, we've got everything set up perfectly for an exciting match tonight. I cannot wait for them to begin.
All right, it's Thursday Night Live. It's the T2 Challenge. I'm Mark Thompson. We've got Sean O'Neill on the commentary, the Olympian himself. Week 6, we're at ICC in Milpitas, California. 2 of the top players in America going head-to-head. Nikhil Kumar taking on Zhou Shin. We're going to step out for just a moment, be back for the start of the match. We're glad you're with us. It's Thursday Night Live, the T2 Challenge. All right, welcome back. We're here at the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge, Week 6, ICC, Milpitas, California. Very happy to be here tonight. Mark Thompson along with Sean O'Neill as we're getting ready to watch 2 of the top players in America go head-to-head. Both of these young gentlemen, Nikhil Kumar and Zhou Shin, will represent the United States of America in Tokyo. It's next summer, Sean. We thought it was going to be this summer. We thought it'd already be over by now, but not the case with the pandemic. And as we've noted on all of our prior weeks, we are playing under the COVID-19 pandemic rules, which means that the players will establish a side on the table. They will not exchange side over the course of the match.
And we have a great team matchup as well, where Team Butterfly has the little bit more than a slight lead. They're looking towards the finish line, but Team Nataku with Zhou Shin representing them is trying to get back into action.
You look at that 4-1, and it is a best of 11. So the first team to 6 wins will win the overall Thursday Night Live first season, the T2 Challenge. But, I've had the opportunity, and I'll just go sideways a little bit here, to watch a lot of NHL playoff hockey lately. And there have been a lot of 3-1 series where teams have been able to battle back and get to Game 7. So I'm hopeful here for Team Nataku. Not that I'm rooting, but I wouldn't mind seeing if we could go all the way to the 11th match to see who decides and who wins this first Thursday Night Live challenge, T2 challenge. There's Sean.
And it's been so wonderful starting in Westchester, heading down to Houston, and now to be at ICC. If the matches require, we'll shoot down to Los Angeles for the final 2 matches to see who will be crowned the first Thursday night T2 Challenge champion.
Sean, we do have a moment here, and before we come up live with this match between Zhou Shin representing Team Nataku and Nikhil Kumar representing Team Butterfly, I do want to pass on our condolences to one of the all-time great table tennis players in the United States of America, Jack Howard, who recently passed away in Las Vegas. We give our most strong condolences to his family and the people that knew Jack. You are one of those persons who knew Jack very well. You're very close to him. You understood what he meant to American table tennis. We're very sorry to see him go.
Yeah, definitely a very sad day for the Hall of Fame. He was a true legend, part of ping pong diplomacy, as well as a great player in his own right and a true champion of the sport.
Yeah, as we get ready here for the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge, Zhou Shin representing Team Nataku. Back to the wall just a little bit, taking on Nikhil Kumar. These guys have played twice before. They've split the match before. This is a competition that has 11 matches preset. The captain of Team Butterfly, David Sakai, very happy about his 4-1 lead right now, trying to battle her way back. Patty Martinez watching it, the captain of Team Nataku. Of course, it's the first team to 6 wins in the matches that will win the overall event. The loser every week ends up picking their teammate for the next week. We are playing under T2 rules, Sean, and of course that means during the 24-minute clock. Any game started before that 24-minute clock runs is played to 11 points. Any game started after the 24-minute clock runs out, that is played to just 5 points. There's no deuce. The clock keeps running. 45 seconds between games, 30-second towel breaks. Each player does have the opportunity for a 30-second timeout, and during that timeout, the clock does stop. We see the tail of the tape between these two young gentlemen. Nikhil Kumar, who does play from the left side. He's an attacker, plays with the shake hand style. And Zhou Shin, he plays from the other side. He's a righty. He's an attacker as well. He plays from the shake hand side. These are just 2 exceptional young players in America, and as noted on a number of occasions tonight, they are going to represent the United States of America in Tokyo. And what a thrill it would be, Sean, to see one, both, or all 3 throw Kanakja in the mix as well to make some noise in Tokyo next year.
Well, it looks like we're ready to get going, and definitely a pick-em match, and let's get the ball rolling.
As I believe they've already had the coin flip, and it is Zhou Shin who is setting for the serve in the best-of-7 match, Thursday Night Live, T2 Challenge. Nice touch to start things off. It is Zhou Shin taking the first point of the match with the serve, leading 1-0. Big forehand there by Zhou Shin, and goes off, and it's Nikhil Kumar on the board and with the serve at 1-1.
Definitely Nikhil's going to look for the opportunity to get his opening forehand into play. But so far, Zhou Shin is a little bit more aggressive.
And Nikhil with the early lead. 3-1. Serve comes across back to Zhou Shin, coming into tonight with a USATT rating of 27.55.
Oh, and Nikhil with a great combination. 2 forehand loops that really hit their target well. Excellent play.
Good backhand loop that time by Zhou Shin off the edge of the paddle from Nikhil Kumar. Will take the serve, leading by 2 on the first towel break at 4-2.
And you saw a great over-the-table backhand loop by Zhou Shin. Very solid.
long. And Zhou Shin draws within one. Serve still with Nikhil Kumar.
Again, Zhou Shin's so solid when that ball's close to the net with the offense.
He was able to just reach out and just drive that into the body of Nikhil. 4-4.
You know, Mark, it's very smart move by Zhou Shin. Keep the offense going. Don't give Nikhil really a chance to get set, because we know the amount of power that he has. But those are some very nice touch returns there on the serve by Nikhil.
We're evened up at fives here with the serve. Now back to Nikhil Kumar, the 17-year-old.
Again, both players doing an exceptional job of taking pace off the serve, bringing the opponent in and not allowing them to make that strong third ball attack.
Good touch from both players there, and Zhou Shin opens up a 2-point lead now with the serve at 7-5.
Again, excellent touch by Nikhil, able to keep that serve back short and low, negating any type of first attack. Oh, nice backhand combination there by Zhou Shin, taking it right off the bounce, really jamming Nikhil. A little bit of breathing space here at 8-6.
Oh, great shot by Nikhil there. Came across the body to the backhand side of Zhou Shin. Draws within one. 7-8 with the serve.
Just a complete tug of war here. Both players fighting for the attack, and then once they get it, not willing to give the opponent a chance to creep back in.
That short ball again that Zhou Shin's able to come across, and he's so long. He's able to just drive it by Nikhil. Now with game point in game one, Zhou Shin. He'll take the serve to his side of the table, down 2.
Again, very smart move by Nikhil, getting his first forehand topspin into play. Took a little risk going out to the forehand, but it paid off. Okay, here we go.
We talked about it, Sean. 10-10, no deuce at T2 rules, so
Sudden death.
here. Serve comes across to Zhou Shin. And it is Nikhil Kumar who takes game one as the forehand loop by Zhou Shin went wide, and coming back from 2 points down, fought off 2 game points against there. Nikhil Kumar takes game one, 14 butterfly, 1-0 lead, as Nikhil Kumar was kind of, as you noted, kind of a tug of rope in that first game there, Sean, and it is Nikhil Kumar takes game one.
Yeah, he played very good position in the sudden death point. He didn't give Zhou Shin much to work with. Zhou Shin went for a little big attack, which is, not going to say completely uncharacteristic. You need to play offense in these sudden death situations. But Nikhil gets the early W for game one, and the players, as we mentioned earlier, will stay on the same side. We are using the COVID-19 rules. And game two is about to begin now. Looks like Nikhil will be starting with the serve.
The umpire in tonight's match is Yue Li, assisting us here at ICC, Milpitas, California.
Excellent short play by both players, never letting that ball come off the table, keeping it very much out of the power zone, and that's what happens when it pops up. Nikhil, wonderful forehand loop for the winner.
Big power there by Nikhil. It was he who was reaching out over the table that time to drive it by Zhou Shin. Down 0-2 with the serve.
Again, just great touch by Nikhil. That ball touched the top of the net, but he got in so quickly to it, really able to take the pace off of it. Oh, that ball just went long. Nikhil had a chance to go for the big reloop, but that puts Zhou Shin on the board.
Forehand by Nikhil. Difficult to handle for Zhou Shin, and Nikhil opens up a 3-point lead here in game 2 at 4-1.
Oh, that ball catches the edge after Nikhil played a great shot into the elbow on Zhou Shin. Somehow he managed to snake his body out of the way, and just that ball caught the side edge.
Drawing within 1 now is Zhou Shin. Ball off the top of the net and out.
And that's a scary serve to do. It went a little bit long. What's going to happen? Nikhil just jumped right on it, not just looping it cross court, but looping it to a great location. Tough to return.
There it is. It's good touch by both players, but as the ball popped up and reaching out over the table, it was Zhou Shin drawing with 1-1 again at 5-4 for Nikhil Kumar's serve.
Just outstanding third ball attack. Just very solid. Good location on the serve, good footwork, finding the open court.
We're now at the 15-minute mark on the 24-minute clock.
Great combination by Zhou Shin, showing he's got the power on his side of the net as well, with a great opening, quick off the bounce, then finding the wide backhand. Beautiful.
Another good forehand loop by Zhou Shin. Nikhil could not handle it, and at 6s, we're even in game 2. Nikhil Kumar playing for Team Butterfly, up 1-0. As they're 14, and we're inside 14 and a half minutes on the 24-minute clock here in game 2.
And these players are just going toe-to-toe with solid attacks on both sides.
And first lead of this game 2. Now over to Zhou Shin. Nikhil Kumar serving down by a point.
That ball took a quick bounce, and Zhou Shin has a little bit of breathing room right now. He would love to tie up this match at 1 game.
Made it difficult on Nikhil that time. The backhand goes long, and now with a 3-point lead at 9-6 and to serve Zhou Shin. Now, with game point is Zhou Shin. The serve shifting back to Nikhil Kumar, down 10-6. Finish that one nicely on the forehand. Behind Zhou Shin, draws within 3. And that does it for game 2. It is Zhou Shin who takes it 11-7. Nikhil Kumar unable to battle back this time. He did so in game 1, but John unable to do so. Zhou Shin, who was down early in game 2, was able to build his momentum and ultimately win 11-7.
Just really showed you his professionalism. A lot of players, when they lose the first game after having a chance, you'll see them sulk maybe a little bit, feel it in the second game. None of that for Zhou Shin. He just came out, kept the game plan, kept the offense going, and really played well the last 4 points of the game.
We've noted it, but this is a best of 11 right now. Team Butterfly leading 4-1. The first team that wins 6 matches ends up winning this overall first season of Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge. So with the weight of the 4-1 deficit, it is Zhou Shin with the serve here in game 3, tied 1 game apiece with Nikhil Kumar. Nice backhand that time by Nikhil. Takes an early 1-0 lead in game 3. That's that punch, that backhand punch that's what shot.
And there's, again, very strong over-the-table play by Zhou. Nikhil's serve return popped up just a little bit, but Zhou jumped on it quickly. Both these players have exceptional hand touch over the table on the serve return. They really will never give the opponent a free chance to get that third ball attack going.
And taking the 3-1 lead now, Zhou. He is on a bit of a run here against Nikhil Kumar with the serve.
And again, Nikhil doing a smart move of getting that first attack and having to jump out quickly, but Zhou keeping the pressure on, not really giving Nikhil much to work with.
Oh, great shot that time by Nikhil off the edge and in after saving one off the side of the table that time, Sean.
Yeah, I credit Zhou for being able to get the return on, but Nikhil really took it home. And Zhou with a very nice counterattack right off the bounce. When Nikhil's back off the table, it gives Zhou a little bit more time to get those counterattacks going. And there's no way you're going to stop that bullet train. I mean, Nikhil just rocketed that one right down the center, right into the weak elbow zone.
With the serve, Zhou leading 5-3 here in game 3, 1 game apiece. Nice time by Nikhil.
Yeah, again, that serve just went a little bit long. Nikhil jumped on it. Again, solid placement by Nikhil. Never playing it into the paddle, but making sure that Zhou has to move his feet in order to play the return.
Great forehand that time by Zhou. Picked his forehand side that time for Nikhil, just blew it by him as we're inside 10 minutes here on the 24-minute clock. Zhou leading 6-4 in game 3.
Both players showing exceptional power. I mean, literally, again, toe-to-toe, back-to-back, forehand rips.
And exceptional touch there, Sean. Zhou, beautiful. Short to that forehand side and ends up taking now a 7-5 lead with the serve in game 3. That powerful forehand from Nikhil again. The draw within 1 here in game 3. Zhou with the serve, up 7-6.
Wow. What a shot. How did that ball
bury that one?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's what we've seen from Nikhil Kumar. When he's out of position, you think there's nothing, he'll figure out a way of getting it into play.
After a great shot by Zhou to dig it off the side of the table. Great backhand punch by Nikhil Kumar. Takes the first lead of game 3.
Oh, and that ball just goes long. He had it on his paddle. Nikhil set it up after making 2 tremendous shots that are definitely ready for the highlight roll.
And you could hear him, too. He was upset with himself on that one, John.
And Zhou just battled back. He does not step back at all. And the table tennis gods are smiling on Nikhil. That ball just was a net dribbler.
Maybe they're smiling on us at 9-9 here. Give us an opportunity for another close battle between these two. Game 1 went to 10-10, and Zhou won Game 2 11-7. So 9-9 with the serve, Nikhil Kumar. Battle on that point. Zhou with game point. Nikhil Kumar with the serve. Down 9-10. And it is Zhou Shin who takes game 3 at 11-9 as he wins back-to-back points there to take a 2-1 lead over Nikhil Kumar. So after losing game 1, it is Zhou Shin, Sean, who is now in the lead in this match, 2-1. Here's we head towards game 4.
And clearly, Zhou Shin is thinking, I've got to keep the pressure on. Even in the first game where he lost it at that 10-10, he was forcing the action. Game 3, continue to put the pressure on, and it paid bigger dividends. Nikhil, I mean, he's still shot making. He's on the other side of the table, hitting winners from the forehand and the backhand side, catching the net ball, bringing them up from below the table. I mean, we're continuing just to have an outstanding match.
6 minutes and 18 seconds remaining on the 24-minute clock here. We are in game 4. Zhou Shin, who will represent the United States in Tokyo, and Nikhil Kumar, who will as well. Here at ICC in Milpitas, we want to thank everybody there at ICC for all the great work that they've done, including Rajul Chef, and James Goodwin. It's been excellent to work with there as well. The umpire in this match, Yue Lee. Game 4 underway.
And an excellent backhand opening loop there by Nikhil Kumar. He needs to get some offense going, keep the power, keep the pressure on.
That goes long, and Zhou Shin leading 2-1 here in game 4, leading 2-1 in games as well.
Nikhil cannot afford to let Zhou Shin jump out big in this game. And that's a beautiful backhand over the table. Excellent play cross court.
Nikhil changing his serve position just a bit.
Zhou Shin able to take that service angle away from him and get his own forehand in. These are some critical points right here in game 4. Excellent play by Nikhil, dropping the serve short, getting the backhand opening down the line. A lot of spin on that ball.
He goes wide. It's now 3-5. Nikhil with the serve. He'll go back to his other position, which is where he serves from ordinarily.
And again, Zhou Shin taking every opportunity to get the first spin in. Any serves that come long, he's always heavy topspin on either the forehand or backhand side. Ooh, and that could be a costly mistake there for Nikhil.
Down 4 now at 7-3, favoring Zhou Shin, who's up 2-1 with 3 minutes and 49 seconds remaining on the 24-minute clock.
Oh, look at that backhand off the bounce. Nikhil, a great forehand flip. Zhou Shin just ready for it and took it downtown. Much better.
Short. Again, yeah.
Very good. So Nikhil learned his lesson from the previous point of letting that ball leave the short side of the net, going a little bit deep. Zhou Shin jumping on it, that time staying with the foot play. And again, pays off.
Nikhil Kumar on a bit of a run here, draws within 2. The serve will come across to Zhou Shin. He's up 8-6, game 4. 2-1 lead right now for Zhou Shin with the serve.
Oh, Nikhil had an opportunity there. He popped up the serve. Zhou Shin went into the backhand, but very difficult to read the amount of spin on Zhou Shin's loop.
Drawing within 2 again is Nikhil Kumar, who now has the serve. Down a game and down 2 points. 7-9 here in game 4.
Ouch.
Yeah. That's costly right there. Game point across to Zhou Shin.
And he comes back with a very pressure backhand loop off the bounce. But Zhou Shin with three more game points.
And that does it. Zhou Shin takes a 3-1 lead with an 11-8 victory in Game 4. And still time on the 24-minute clock for another 11-point match or game here, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, both players are continuing to show great firepower. Zhou Shin not stepping back, keeping the pressure on. Nikhil, again, showing some excellent shot making, both on the forehand and backhand side. It's just right now the momentum is favoring Zhou Shin.
You look back to it, Nikhil Kumar won Game 1 after coming back. He was down 10-8 in Game 1. He won 3 consecutive points to win that one, 11-10. But since then, 3 consecutive games for Zhou Shin at 11-7, 11-9, 11-8 most recently. And now, leading 3-1, we go to Game 5, and this will be a game to 11 points.
Right, the clock will come off the screen once it goes down to 0, and if we do play Game 6, that will be in the Fast 5. But right now, game to 11. Oh, great backhand over the table on the serve return, and then following up with another backhand off the bounce.
Taking an early 2-0 lead is Nikhil Kumar, down 3-1. It looks like he's taking a little bit more aggressive posture in Game 5, Sean.
Excellent play. Well, really nothing to lose at this stage. Might as well go ahead and just keep the pressure on.
On the board now, Zhou Shin at 1-3 and the serve.
Nikhil needs to be careful. Zhou Shin has just been consistently offensive this whole match.
Now 3-3 as that one goes off the top of the net and out. Serve back to Nikhil Kumar. Take a bit of a break here. As you can see, the clock has run out, but this game will go to the full 11 points. Oh, great point that time.
Wow, what a great return by Nikhil. I thought Zhou Shin had a 1-2 punch that was going to score. Normally, Nikhil gets a couple pushes that he can jump on. Zhou Shin's giving him nothing to work with. At every opportunity, he's making an offensive play.
It goes wide, so Nikhil back with the lead here at 5-4. The serve to Zhou Shin, leading 3-1 in Game 5. Thought Nikhil set that up well with the short ball, but unfortunately for him, his drive goes long. It's 5-5. Nikhil with the serve.
And Zhou Shin with the lucky break there. That ball catches the net, finds its way.
Beautiful backhand that time by Nikhil Kumar. Just powered it by Zhou Shin to even things back up at 6.
No hesitation, just great form, great technique, rocketing it cross court to tie the score up.
It was a very confident shot that time by Nikhil.
Had the opportunity, he set up the backhand nicely, just caught it a little bit fat, and that ball flew off the end. And again, Zhou Shin with a slight edge right now.
Bringing it back up is Nikhil Kumar. That's one of the things that you compare this with the match they played in Santa Monica, where Nikhil made virtually no mistakes at all, Sean. I think we're seeing a little bit of why Zhou Shin leads 3-1, as Nikhil's game has not been quite as sharp as it was in Santa Monica.
Oh, another opportunity. It looked like there was a little bit of daylight there. Just went off the end. Extremely big point here for Nikhil.
Great shot by Zhou Shin. Couldn't fight it off. Nikhil, and now taking a 2-point lead at 9-7 end serve. Zhou Shin up 3-1, game 5. Critical moment of the match, obviously. And that goes long. And now with 4 match points is Zhou Shin. And he ends up closing out on the first one at 11-7. So it is Zhou Shin avenging the loss there in Santa Monica at the Olympic trials as he wins game 5 11-7 after dropping game 1 11-10. He comes back 11-7, 11-9, 11-8, 11-7. And Team Nataku, Sean, is on the board again, is now within 2 games of Team Butterfly with the big win by Zhou Shin tonight over Nikhil Kumar.
Just a great play by Zhou Shin. Solid offense from the first point all the way to the last. Nikhil's looking solid himself, just came up a few points short.
All right, we know what's going to happen next is we're going to be back at ICC in Milpitas, California. Next week, it is Lily Zhang who's going to take on Adi Gadwani, and it is going to be Lily with Team Butterfly trying to get back in the win column here. Team Nataku represented by Adi Gadwani, who will try to draw within 1. Right now, it is 4-2, Team Butterfly leading over Team Nataku. Look forward to having you join us next week for Thursday Night Live, the T2 Challenge. For Sean O'Neill, I'm Mark Thompson. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for joining us for USA Table Tennis Thursday Night Live, the T2 Challenge.